Welcome to AI Unscripted with Dan and Eric, where we explore the uncharted territories of artificial intelligence. In this episode, Gamma Ray of Hope, Dan Brown and Eric Carey shine a light on Gamma, the AI-powered tool that's revolutionizing the world of presentations. Discover how Gamma is transforming communication, empowering businesses, and sparking a new wave of creativity. Join the conversation as we explore the potential of this cutting-edge technology to illuminate the future of work.
All right, welcome back to AI Unscripted with Dan and Eric. I'm Eric Carey, here with Dan Brown, and today we're going to be discussing all the big events that have happened over the last week with Google and OpenAI and their announcements that they have made, along with a few other news stories that have came around. So let's go ahead and get started, and we'll jump right in. All right, so let's go ahead and get started talking about it's not one of the main news stories of the week, but to me, it was actually a really amazing thing to see. You sent this link to me, you texted to me this week about Gamma, and it is an AI service that allows you to be able to do pitch decks and PowerPoints and that type of thing AI-wise. Now, that's always been a thing that people want with looking at ChatGPT, trying to figure out how to make a PowerPoint slide. And there's ways to do it, but it's very cumbersome and it's not as fluid as you would like. This program, I don't know where they came from. I've not done a deep dive into this business, but it was mind-boggling because I went in there and played with it and did my own little example. And wow, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, so I just came across it last week because I had to create a PowerPoint, and I'm not good at PowerPoint, and so I started searching online. But I had all the content because I did use the large language models. I was going back and forth with Gemini 1.5 Pro, just giving it a bunch of information about my company, talking about what I wanted in the presentation, refining the slides in the presentation. But then I was like, okay. Because then once you have that down, you go do a PowerPoint, and then I was like, what? There has to be some type of AI tool. I looked it up, and obviously they pay for some Google ads, and it's gamma.app, and I pasted in the slide stuff, which and it immediately turned it into this awesome, visually appealing, very slick PowerPoint. It's not even a PowerPoint exactly, but it looks even kind of better. And I was blown away. And you could use it for free. I created a bunch of presentations off of it, versions that I was kind of just working off of, and it was free. And then I just 2 days ago, because I'd been spending all this time creating these different pitch decks and proposals for customers and stuff. And I just got over the limit, and it's $10 a month. And it was the quickest $10 that I spent. And I didn't even use, there's other things you can do with it. And the funny thing is yesterday, they just raised $12 million. So obviously this is they're doing pretty well. And, another thing is when you go to PowerPoint, and if you have a Microsoft Copilot, you try to get the Copilot to help you. It's got the chatbot in Microsoft Copilot. It's absolutely horrible. It's it doesn't do anything for you. And yet now this company has this. It just kind of blows my mind that Microsoft has, but also makes me believe that Microsoft's going to probably have something like this soon. Anyway, for this week's tool, it's a super awesome tool. And as long as you just give it what the information you want, it can create an awesome looking presentation. And it has AI tools where you can say, hey, change this look, I don't want that, or add bullet points, and it just does it. It's really good. And then I'm guessing you could probably give it next to nothing, and it'll give you something pretty cool. I gave it a bunch of I feel good, very crafted stuff, but you can probably be hey, create a PowerPoint about some topic, and it'll just spin it up.
Well, like you said, the fact that Microsoft doesn't have something like this already, you want to think that this is up your sleeve. However, we've said this in previous episode, is that typically the first one to release something has the advantage. So I'm curious to see what's going to happen with this. We've got a video of their commercial that they're advertising that I'd like to show here in a second. But before I do, it's like one of the big things that I could see Gamma being used for is ebooks. It has an option to create an ebook, and I don't know if how much time you've spent on social media, but almost every major social media platform that has an influencer who has a big following always has an ebook, and that ebook helps draw people to their site and connect and get the email addresses and so forth. I went on there and just created a very simple ebook. I put a prompt into the AI box, and it created a amazing, like very well formatted, everything great in there for an ebook that was made in less than a minute. Maybe 2 minutes, including me typing everything. So that's huge because that can draw a lot of traffic to your site and services that way. So let's take a look. Let's take a look at this promo video that they released as a part of it. Let me see if I can get it pulled up here.
Listen up. We're making a commercial for Gamma, so we got to do two things. First, come up with a concept. What if second, we got to present that concept with a slide deck.
Ugh, slide decks, it's the 2020s.
Why can't someone invent a thing where we can just tell the computer our thoughts and have it create the perfect deck for us?
Yeah, designing it automatically, laying it out in a way that makes us look good.
That is exactly what Gamma is for. Did you read the brief?
It was very long.
Gamma is a whole new way to present ideas. We don't need slides anymore because we've got AI.
Of course it's AI.
Now, what should this commercial be?
Okay, what if we told a story about a team using Gamma for the first time?
And the viewer learns about Gamma along with the team.
So it's a group of coworkers sitting around brainstorming ideas for, let's say, a commercial.
Exactly like what we're doing right now.
You guys, the commercial should be about us. About this.
So that right there is that's the first part of it. We'll finish watching in a minute. But that, one on top of the marketing and advertising, genius to be starting a commercial about coming up with a commercial and using this as your pitch deck. Genius in marketing and advertising.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a good ad. Does the next video show like how?
Yeah. It goes into a little bit more detail. So I didn't know if we wanted to kind of see what this looks like. Let's see if I can get it started.
Gamma. With Gamma, you start with an idea, or a lot of ideas, and Gamma takes it from there.
Wow.
Inspiring, refining, and elevating your thoughts to create the perfect presentation. For all the ways you want to present your ideas.
What if it looked more, futuristic?
And purple. And punch up the title.
Or just interpret your team's vague input so you don't have to.
Here.
How's that? I love it.
Love it.
So the commercial will be about us using Gamma to present our idea for a commercial about Gamma to you. Gamma.
That's not confusing at all. Let's do it.
Gamma isn't just for presentation.
They showed it there, and that's what's so cool about it. It's like you really are. It's like ChatGPT for creating presentations and then even editing them, and so so useful. Like I used to waste so much time. I'd be just like staring at a PowerPoint, and then eventually I'd have to go find some that new PowerPoint. Right after I just like realized I'm like, oh, I'm not gonna be able to get this any further. So and that's what I'm finding AI to be. I have to bother a lot less people that I used to bother all the time and be like, hey, can you like read this over and make it sound better? Which is nice. I mean, I still do that a little bit, but it's very helpful to me to because like I'm doing all these different things. And when you try to wear like a million hats, you can get stuck on these tiny little things. And I truly do feel like I have like an AI assistant, and it makes me feel when I get like a thing I have to do, I'm like, I feel better that I'm like, okay, I can figure this out, So I mean, this was a major unlock for me this week. Saved me a lot of time.
I mean, to me, this really is. I mean, AI is an assistant, and that's what because people always instantly want to go to AI robots taking over the world and all the above. But right now, wherever we're at right now, whatever happens in the future, I don't know. But right now, it is that's how you have to look at it as an assistant. And this is a tool that takes it way beyond where we're currently standing, in my opinion, because that right there, and I can see that being in Gamma being useful in every different type of industry, whether you're in, healthcare or just the general business world of whatever industry you're in, school. Think about how many school projects that you could do. It could help you out with making presentations. You name it, right? And you're trying to sell. You're in consulting, and you're trying to consult to people, and this is your pitch to them. There's so many different ways that this could be used. And whoever invested that $12 million or whatever, genius investment, because I'm telling you, this was a big one.
Well, we'll see, because I don't know. Maybe this becomes free and power. That's the one thing, is like, you just never know. But obviously, like right now, they're probably, it works.
Yeah.
It's so fast. Someone else comes up with something like this too. But yeah, no, it seems like their marketing's really good, which is super important.
And that's important. But
Yeah,
marketing
and
can make or break a company.
You can share all of your presentations with a link. Like, you just share it, you open it up, and it just opens up I really like that, because I think now when you're giving a presentation, like, instead of just like, attaching it, you can just like, here's a link, and you can have all these videos embedded in it. It's really cool.
I love it. I mean, I've only had a chance to play with it for just a little bit, and I'm already looking forward to. I want to do it right now instead of we can end this and just play with it.
I now have I can now create presentations that look better than all the presentations that I have had people make for me that I was super impressed with. So,
Amen.
It's
and if for anybody who doesn't watch this, they're going to think that you are, a mastermind at this.
I mean, I figure I immediately said we have to put this on, because I'm like, people are going to figure it out really quickly anyway. So might as well just like be the first one to tell them.
I mean, it's already the feel of it feels so professional and feels so beyond of, like you said, Copilot. This feels like it's been very well professionally done. I'm curious really to know who's behind it, because I'm sure the answer's there, and whoever our viewers may know, but that's something I'd like to know.
Yeah, I don't know,
but I'm liking it. It's in the end, if it is the little guy, that's what we've said before. We're here to promote anything that's not the big companies. If it's a middle and under, that's who we want to see succeed and get their products out there. So I'm pro Gamma right now, and 100%.
Yeah, me too. Last thing I want is like I don't mind going to a website to do a presentation. It's no different than opening up PowerPoint, right? So it's like, I'm all cool with that, and it adds so much value that it's worth it.
Yeah. No, I agree completely. Well, obviously there is, that was the tool that we wanted to highlight for this episode, and I'm glad we did. But there also was big news this week between Google and OpenAI, and you called it last week about how OpenAI was going to have something up their sleeve and ready to compete with the news that Google was doing. And they both, I've watched the highlights of both of them, and they both put on a really good show. Do you have any, who do you think won before we get into the details, who do you think won the week in the news?
So OpenAI, like what they always do is they, right before will announce, it's like they know what Google is going to announce. I'm guessing Google's got a lot of leaks or something. And so they basically both announced the same type of their major announcement, which we'll show in a minute. It's just that ChatGPT did it the day before, and that by doing that, I feel like they just got more of the press, more people talking because it's the first time they saw it. Also, OpenAI kept theirs to an hour long, right? So OpenAI is focused on very narrow things. Google's watching the thing was hours, right? And it's like, you watch in the beginning for a while, and it's kind of like it just gets too long. And then we can talk more about Google, but Google is like literally trying to do everything under the sun with AI. In some of their demos, I'm like, okay, well, it almost felt like they just were like, we're going to create demo videos for everything and then build it later. Like, I'm not saying they can't make this stuff, but it was just like so intricately put into every product they have. and it is Google, so they probably can't do it. So the biggest announcements though were the same, and OpenAI got in front of them, and so I think they kind of won on that.
Yeah. I mean, speaking of what you're saying, like it feels like that they got really flashy with it. And the first video I'm gonna pull up here for Google, it shows you the beginning part. Now the video I came across is just kind of like highlights of parts of it. But let's go ahead and watch the first one and just to kind of see if like how flashy the very first couple of seconds of this is. Can you see?
Google! We all ready to do a little Googling?
Welcome to Google I/O. It's great to...
Now, we'll pause that for a second, just for a brief moment. Now, it got your attention, but you're thinking, what in the world? Like, this is like, you're announcing like an amazing technology, but then you start off with that. A guy in a bathrobe?
Well, okay, so they got some bad, so I think a little unfair press here. I watched this live. That guy was like, think about like the guy that comes out before a comedy act and like just gets the crowd started. Like he was like, or he's like the first opener band, and then there's like a half-hour break, and then the real things happens. I'm not sure how long, but it wasn't. He was nowhere near Sundar, who's the CEO on the screen right now. But yeah, no, that guy was kind of weird. They did have him in one of their demos where he was like demoing this music product they have. Another music one. They're creating their music. It's like music FX or something. But so another one that hope people can upload to our site, hopefully. But yeah, no, that guy, they got some bad press for that.
Yeah. I mean, I get your point. I mean, it makes sense. If you were there live, you'd probably enjoy it, but maybe not record that part. Get the crowd fired up and then start your thing. I mean, I don't know. It was fine. It doesn't bother me. It just thought it was funny. All right, let's watch it.
It's great to have all of you with us. We'll begin launching this fully revamped experience, AI Overviews, to everyone in the US this week, and we'll bring it to more countries soon. With Gemini, we're making that a whole lot easier. Say you're at a parking station ready to pay. Now you can simply ask photos. It knows the cars that appear often, it triangulates which one is yours, and just tells you the license plate number. You can even follow up with something more complex. Show me how Lucia's swimming has progressed. Here, Gemini goes beyond a simple search, recognizing different contexts, from doing laps in the pool to snorkeling in the ocean. We are rolling out Ask Photos this summer with more capabilities to come.
So, interesting.
Okay, so that was kind of like edited clips of there. So I was watching that, and it was crazy. It's like you don't know your license plate, you just ask your photos, and all it does is like it assumes, okay, whatever car is in there most often is your car, and then it looks at the photo license plate, and then in a chatbot tells you that. That's pretty crazy. And then for how did my kid progress in swimming? They like show the different. They just like curated automatically like all of these videos and images and show you. It's pretty insane when you think about it. You're gonna be able to talk. And this is why I always tell my wife, I'm like, take as many videos and pictures of our daughter as possible, because we're not just going to be like sitting there searching for them in the future. Just have the data, because like most likely it's just going to like, we'll just say, hey, reconstruct an hour-long video of her when she was 2, and it will just like perfectly create this amazing video. And probably if this is like 10 or 15 years from now, it's going to then also make it like 3D immersive. Like it's going to use it's going to be like, oh, we already know what she looks like from every angle when she was 2. So therefore, like now you can walk around in different angles, and it just generatively fills things. Like it's insane stuff. It's actually something
like the Apple Vision Pro. I mean, where they had the memory generator or whatever, that uses photos to kind of like submerge you into a 3D world from a photo. It's amazing.
Yeah. So they're called nerfs, and it's like it stands for like this long thing. And you could take a picture just from a few different angles of something, and then it will then make it so it's like this spinning object, like a 3D object. And the parts that it doesn't have, it just kind of auto fills, and it's insane. But So yeah, no, that was really cool. That the photo thing. Do you have more? Because I also have some
so let's go on to the next one.
Yeah.
Multimodality radically expands the questions we can ask and the answers we will get back. Long context takes this a step further, enabling us to bring in even more information. Hundreds of pages of text, hours of audio, a full hour of video, or entire code repos. So you need a 1 million token context window, now possible with Gemini 1.5 Pro. I'm excited to announce that we are bringing this improved version of Gemini 1.5 Pro to all developers globally. Gemini 1.5 Pro with 1 million context is now directly available for consumers in Gemini Advanced and can be used across 35 languages. So today, we are expanding the context window to 2 million tokens. This represents the next step on our journey towards the ultimate goal of infinite context. Multimodality
That right there is 2 million. And I like how he ended it though, going for unlimited,
So this is the model I've been talking about so much, this 1.5 Pro. I've been playing with it in this preview mode, and that's one that's it's really good because it has such a big context window, meaning it has a huge memory. You can just shove all that information into it. And then now it's just gonna be part of the more regular product that that it's easier to access. And so that's cool. And then now they moved it to 2 million, which is awesome. And the API is available. So actually the API hasn't been available for a little bit, but yeah.
It makes a big difference, having that 2 million token. This, with it all said, I know we talked about OpenAI and then they're competing. This week right here is what we love. I mean, because they're both, the competition's real, and OpenAI knows that they have Google's the big dog on the playground for a long time, and OpenAI knows they have a lot of, to go against, and so I'm loving this competition. I'm loving that Google's trying to one up and they're trying to one up them.
And just to be clear, Google is way further ahead. Well, Google is offering this, and OpenAI does not have this. OpenAI does not have, I think their biggest is 256,000 tokens, right? And they don't have a functional product that you can upload a video to right now. They announced right before Google announced that their new model can, but it's not yet publicly open. So we can go over that soon. They've announced this thing, and they are saying that you can use it, but then really you're not really using it in its full capabilities. So they just preemptively said a lot of things to get the news cycle, but that model right there is something that OpenAI does not have, and they're about to have it soon, but it's unclear how big the context window is. So it's gonna be interesting. I mean, Google has officially caught up. They
had a ways to go, and there was a long time that they supposedly, if you follow some of the news, they've had this for a while. They've just been working on it, but I feel like maybe OpenAI coming out maybe pushed Google to start pushing more to get it released sooner than they would have if OpenAI wouldn't have done when they did in November of 22 or whatever it was, when they pushed to open up for public usage. I wonder how long Google would have been holding on to it. But either way, it doesn't matter. I'm liking this. I'm liking this release. I have one more, and they had a lot. They released a lot. For this episode, I just kind of had a handful of clips. So let's watch this one last one here.
Today, I'm so excited to introduce Imagine 3. Imagine 3 is more photorealistic. You can literally count the whiskers on its snout, with richer details, like this incredible sunlight in the shot, and fewer visual artifacts or distorted images. You can sign up today to try Imagine 3 in ImageFX, part of our suite of AI tools at labs.google. Together with YouTube, we've been building Music AI Sandbox, a suite of professional music AI tools that can create new instrumental sections from scratch, transfer styles between tracks, and more.
Today, I'm excited to announce our newest, most capable generative video model called VO. Veo creates high-quality 1080p videos from text, image, and video prompts. It can capture the details of your instructions in different visual and cinematic styles. You can prompt for things like aerial shots of a landscape or a time-lapse, and further edit your videos using additional prompts. You can use Veo in our new experimental tool called Video FX. We're exploring features like storyboarding and generating longer scenes. Not only is it important to understand where an object or subject should be in space, it needs to maintain this consistency over time, just like the car in this video. Over the coming weeks, some of these features will be available to select creators through Video Effects at labs.google, and the wait list is open now.
So that's the thing. What is the select? It's like Sora, the select few people who are going to be available for.
I signed up. Hopefully I get access.
Yeah. I went in there and put my name down. I was like, just to see.
So, okay. Yeah. Awesome. I'm glad you showed those videos. So yeah, now they have basically a really good, DALL-E 3 type competitor that's coming out soon. They have a music competitor, which OpenAI does not currently have. They said they're not working on, well, they don't, I think they stayed away from that one for right now. And now they have a Sora competitor, like Sora's OpenAI's version of their video FX or whatever they're calling Veo. And so, this is, last year was like, okay, a lot of text in, text out, code interpreter was cool, which is like a data analyst. We had some, images. Like this year's huge multimodal, and meaning text in, video in, like audio in, and these things coming back out. And it's like, this is getting really, I think it's like really exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'm just ready to play with all, Sora, this one. I'm ready to play with them all because the capabilities, man, like that, just even like creating things, we were talking about earlier in the episode with Gamma. Can you imagine combining all these tools together into one, and like what you could come up with? That's where we've always talked about from the beginning, is like how movies are going to be made with this and everything. It's there, and in the end, it still requires humans' imagination to make things great. But I'm ready for it. I'm ready to play it, and I'm sure maybe it will. I don't know when. I'm impatient, and I don't want to be.
Well, it's like there's so many announcements, and it's like I feel like for every announcement there is, if they announce 5 things, we're only like one thing is actually you can use right now. And that's what is sort of annoying. It's like OpenAI announced their video thing a while ago, but like, the same day that, so they announced that the same day that Google had announced that Gemini 1.5 Pro, and they did it on purpose, right, to bury the news. And so but now it's still not out, and Sora, they announced it, a long time ago. So they're both doing this thing where they're like, we've got all this stuff, but it's like, they're not actually shipping it. And it's kind of annoying.
Yeah.
It's interesting to see what's in the pipeline, but these are also demos they're showing us. But we also know it's possible because we've, when I make amazing, when we're making amazing songs on Suno and Udio, like that's like mind blowing. And we've obviously seen mind blowing things out of these models. So it's like, I believe it's possible, but it's also just kind of like, this idea where they're all just announcing stuff. So, and then people, they get the news story, and then all these people think it's already available. And it's like, oh no, we're not going to get that for a few more months. It's like, what?
Yeah. I'm used to, like with all the Apple videos, we've new phones coming out. Usually they'll have the big show for it, and then it's like shipping next week, and you're like, okay, I can deal with that. But this whole like this type of thing, like I need it. I need access to it now. I don't need to be saying Google Labs limited available to certain people. So,
do we have any more Google stuff? Because I have another
with Google stuff. I have there was one more that I've recorded it, but I don't have it. It was the gems. That's what I started recording, but something, I think it was actually only a short clip that they, it's just a little teaser.
Yeah, it's a short clip, so we don't need to do it because people know what, custom GPTs are. So they announced that they're going to allow you to create custom GPTs, and they're calling them gems. And I'm super excited about that because those are things that I want people to put on our site on Inquest AI, right? So you already have co-pilots from Microsoft. You have custom GPTs from ChatGPT, and now you have gems from Google that are going to be out here soon. And they're basically all the same. You can kind of customize the model to do task-based things, personalized to things that you do all the time, so you don't have to prompt it a million ways. And so, yeah, I'm really pumped. That was my other prediction, that they were going to do that. Hopefully they now have it with that huge context window and make it so that you can upload video. You could start just using, oh, well, wait, we need to show Project Astra. Or do we have that video?
I don't have it. I don't have that video. But
okay.
Yeah, no, it's amazing.
So the thing is, Project Astra is the same thing we're about to show you ChatGPT release. And it's the biggest announcement. So you'll be able to see what that, the viewers will be able to see what the capabilities are, because they're basically the same. But essentially, it's the chatbot in the movie Her. That's what it is. It's like you just have live video and you're just like talking to this video and it's just looking and interacting, or it just looks at you and talks to you, and you'd be like, hey, how do I look? And they're like, oh, you need a haircut. Like, so yeah, that was huge. It is basically like, they showed an example of you put on these glasses and you just walk around and it's got a video recorder on it, or it's got a camera on it, and it's just talking to. They walked up to a camera or to a computer and looked at the code and asked what the code was doing. Then they did all of this stuff. They went to a whiteboard, and it's like, wow, this is that's mind blowing. And the what that's going to open up for developers is like insane. And so we'll see some of those videos from the OpenAI one, and OpenAI announced like that same thing. But it's not yet ready to. It's not yet shipped.
Well, let's go ahead and move on and show some of those from OpenAI. We don't have a whole lot of clips because OpenAI they had like a big demo. I mean, the whole thing was amazing. And we're going to talk more about all of the OpenAI. I think we'll do a quick next episode and go into more detail. But let's show one that was pretty had some good humor into it. Let's see.
Hey, Rocky. I'm doing great. How about you?
I'm awesome. Listen, I got some huge news.
Oh, do tell. I'm all ears.
Well, in a few minutes, I'm going to be interviewing at OpenAI. Have you heard of them?
OpenAI? Huh? Sounds vaguely familiar. Kidding, of course. That's incredible, Rocky. What kind of interview?
Well, it's for a software engineering role, but I just need to know, do I look presentable, professional?
Well, Rocky, you definitely have the I've been coding all night look down, which could actually work in your favor. Maybe just run a hand through your hair or lean into the mad genius vibe. Your enthusiasm is what's really going to shine through.
I don't have a lot of time, so I'm just going to throw this on. What do you think?
Oh, Rocky, that's quite a statement piece. I mean, you'll definitely stand out. Though maybe not in the way you're hoping for an interview.
Okay, I got it.
I mean, I don't know how I feel. I mean, if my wife told me that, I'd be fine with it. But to have an artificial intelligence laugh at me when I put a hat on, I don't know how I'd feel about it. But maybe I like it.
But I mean, that's amazing. Real time. It's like it's like you're talking to a real person. It's got humor. It's got a personality. And Google's was very similar. OpenAI made theirs more like literally the same exact voice from the voice from the movie Her. So, but they both announced this, right? And yet, like, this is mind blowing stuff. Because you could just be, I've been taking screenshots of stuff and uploading it to ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini, and being like, hey, like, what do you think about this design? Or like, what do you think? Like, I've been using that for a while and I love it. But now it's nice to have it in video form live. So I don't even have to do that. I just keep talking to it. I don't have to keep like taking screenshots. I mean, it's pretty amazing that you're just going to be able, like, okay, what if you're fixing an engine? Okay. and you don't know how to fix an engine, or like, what are you fixing something? And you just have the video on you, and it's just watching you. And it's like, oh, don't do that. You're like, you just now can be completely clueless about what you're fixing. And they're just like, okay, see that red wire? Like, disconnect that one and put it, like, just imagine when people start putting very precise knowledge bases of how to do things into these models. And it's like, okay, now you can teach anyone like how to fix like some like really old, or you can take a regular mechanic who has, they're a mechanic, but maybe they don't know how to like exactly fix like 19 whatever 78 Corvettes or like special cars. They'll be able to do it. They're just going to put on their glasses. It's going to have like it's going to be like the Meta camera and the Meta Ray-Bans, and it's just going to talk to them. And this is the stuff where it's like, oh my God, mind blowing.
Yeah.
And it's
right around the corner.
People are going to start talking to this like their friend. Like that's the little scary part.
And because the movie Her, I mean, for anybody that's watching, that's pretty much the premise, is that he becomes friends with an artificial intelligence. Ultimately, there's a lot more to the detail than that, but
falls in love
with yeah. And so like, just from watching that video, you could see the connection that that you could feel the connection being built, even though it's not fully real, or not real. I almost say it is real, even though it's not like a genuine human connection. But you could feel that there was some trust. He was asking her questions and trusting her opinion on some things, and she was giving valid. I say she. Listen to me. It was giving valid opinions, accurate of what a human would typically give at the same advice.
Perception is reality, right? And like that is so important to remember. It's like perception is reality, and so if it feels real, like we perceive it to be real, right? And these things are it. I mean, I was watching, there were so many videos on that OpenAI released, and it's like some of them I was laughing, like you just like blur out laughing. It's like funny, like and so I've played around with like different models where you can upload a picture of yourself and it'll like critique you or roast you and stuff like that. And so like you knew this stuff was coming because you could just take a picture of yourself and do it. So, but now they've just made it very fluid, and that it by adding like what's really big here is they're combining these things really quickly, where you get a voice that it changes its pitch. It's not like robotic, and so it sounds like you're talking to someone. And then obviously they're taking the image. I think they're just like looking at a lot of clips of images really fast, right? But it's like, whoa. And Google just did this too. So now you have two competitors who are, have this via API, so you can just now build. Imagine all the products that are going to be built with this. And imagine custom GPT. This is what I'm saying. Custom GPTs are going to be built on top of these models that can do this. And so there's so many people who are just like, that's where people have to start thinking now. Like, okay, your custom GPTs can do so much more, or gems, or whatever you want to call them. Like, we are building low code, no code tools on top of alien technology that can do so much stuff. The limit is your imagination. Like, this is exciting times.
And like you said, with custom GPTs, built with this technology, just what you were saying a minute ago, if you're a car mechanic and you're working on a 1976 Pontiac Trans Am, then you can create custom GPTs that can help mechanics. I mean, because it's there, but it needs, if you have a custom GPT that you can put in the PDFs with all the information that you need, plus the videos, it can add to this. So the market's going to open up even more and more and more.
So let me give you an example. If you have a 2 million context window, and let's say the Google Gems allow you to do this. What I would do is, let's say I was trying to fix that 1978 whatever Corvette, and all of a sudden the base model said, we don't know how to fix this. I'd say, okay, I'm going to go find videos, or maybe I'm the guy, I know how to fix it. So I'm going to create this custom GPT. I'm going to go create bunch of videos about this. It's going to be about, 2 hours long. So that's what you can fit in a 2 million context window. I feed that to my custom GPT as the knowledge base. right? Now my custom GPT has all the capabilities to see what I'm doing, right? It has all the capabilities of the base model, and you can talk to me and make me laugh and everything. But now it has the information to actually supplement the model to show you how to fix that core event. And this is where people should start to understand. You can bring your areas of expertise into these models where they don't have it, supplement it, and still be able to ride that whole beautiful interaction we just saw, right? Where and so that's why people are going to be, you're going to be able to find these AI apps, gems, copilots, whatever you want to call them, for all this stuff, because people will put, they'll find the cracks in the models or the holes, the knowledge gaps, fill them, and then create these apps, and then people will go pick them up. Like, cool, like now, and they're going to want to search for them. And so, yeah, at least that's what I think. That's how I see it.
Yeah, no, I agree. That's where there's a reason why OpenAI they're pushing these custom GPTs. There's a reason why Google is coming out with gems. They know that is the future, and that's going to allow them a huge market to be there. When custom GPTs were announced originally, they were like, this is going to be the next app store. And there's a reason, because I think a lot of people think of custom GPTs, they're like, oh, well, AI can do it anyway. I don't need something. No, it gives you whole different experience, and by using it and customizing it and uploading information. So I agree with you completely. And the more tools that are going to be attached to this, I remember when I wanted the GPTs to be able to web browse, and that was all came out around the same time when it came out, when they released it. And so that made a huge difference. And now web browsing, that's old news. We're on to video uploading, and it's just, I'm loving this time. It's a good time to be alive. So.
Yeah. There's a whole idea that these models are just kind of like an operating system that we're going to build on. And so these AI apps that we're building on top of them, you're just building on top of an operating system, like we build on top of, the operating systems that we have in our computers. And so, so you're still using that underlying technology, but you're coming in with a very specific thing. And then you go really deep on that, making that task seamless.
Yeah. Well, we got another. I got part one. This is a two-parter for OpenAI. Let's go ahead and watch what this one part was.
Hi, I'm Barrett.
Hey, I'm Mark. So one of the key capabilities we're really excited to share with you today is real-time conversational speech. Let's just get a demo fired up. So I'm taking out a phone. If you are wondering about this wire, it's so we have consistent internet. And if you see, there's this little icon on the bottom right of the ChatGPT app, and this will open up GPT-4o's audio capabilities. Hey, ChatGPT, I'm Mark. How are you?
Oh, Mark. I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. How about you?
Hey, so I'm on stage right now. I'm doing a live demo, and frankly, I'm feeling a little bit nervous. Can you help me calm my nerves a little bit?
Oh, you're doing a live demo right now? That's awesome. Just take a deep breath. And remember, you're the expert.
I like that suggestion. Let me try a couple deep breaths. Can you give me feedback on my breaths? Okay, here.
All right, so that's that one. Let's go ahead and switch over to the next one here.
Remember, you're the expert.
I like that suggestion. Let me try a couple deep breaths. Can you give me feedback on my breaths? Okay, here I go.
Whoa, slow a bit there. Mark, you're not a vacuum cleaner. Breathe in for a count of 4.
Okay, let me try again. So I'm gonna breathe in deeply. And then out.
For 4, and then exhale slowly.
Okay, I'll try again. Breathing in and breathe out.
That's it. How do you feel?
I feel a lot better. Thank you so much.
So Mark, you've been working on these capabilities for a while now. Can you tell us a bit how it's different from voice mode?
Right. So if you've used our voice mode experience before, you'll notice a couple key differences. First, you can now interrupt the model. You don't have to wait for it to finish your turn before you can start speaking, and you can just butt in whenever you want. Second, the model is real-time responsiveness. So that means that you don't have this awkward 2 to 3 second lag before you wait for the model to give a response. And finally, the model picks up on emotion, right? When I was breathing super hard there, it could tell, and hey, you might want to calm down a little bit. You're kind of running a little bit too fast. So, it really has that capability across the board to perceive your emotion.
That right there, because that's one of the frustrating. I don't know if you use the Chat GPT app much, but it's fun to talk to and have that conversation with. But the delay and the back and forth sometimes, it misunderstands you, so you have to let it go through its process or stop it and stuff like that. So to be able to have an instant conversation with it, it's a big deal.
Yeah, it was a little glitchy right there. You can tell like they're trying to get this out before the Google announcement. It's still not available for people to use. But yeah, no, it's cool. It's awesome. And the other things that I think were good announcements was that they just said that everyone now has access to this GPT-4 level model for free, right? So before it was only 3.5. And when you use 3.5, ChatGPT 3.5, it really was nowhere near as good as ChatGPT 4. And so I feel like unless you paid the money, you didn't really realize what you were missing out on. So I've always been saying, give away custom GPTs for free. They're most useful for people that are just getting started. And now it's exciting that they did do that. So now over the next few weeks, they said, basically everyone will have access to custom GPTs. So now there's a huge market for your GPTs if you're a GPT builder, because now everyone can use them. And I would argue that, like I said, people that are brand new to ChatGPT, people are not paying $20 a month. They're going to be far larger users of GPTs than the people that are paying $20 a month, because people are paying $20 a month a little bit further down the line. And then they just can't create them, but they can only use them in the free. So as a developer, the API fees have gone down 50% too, which is pretty cool. So I'm excited to use this new model. It shows that it's available when you go to ChatGPT. It doesn't feel much different than ChatGPT 4 because it's not creating the images that model can create. It's not talking with you like it can talk to you. They still have the old stuff. And so it's only, so it's kind of like no one's really getting to use this yet. And they made those announcements. But yeah, it looks awesome. Looks awesome. Just like Project Astro, which is the same exact thing, looks awesome. And it's interesting that they just have these at the same time. It's I don't know.
There's some spies on both sides. Somebody's,
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that's actually a good conversation I would like to have with you about this. Is custom GPTs, now that it is open to the public, how do you think, in your mind, let me go back a little bit, profit sharing, right? And that's one of the things they announced in the beginning, is that they would do similar to with the App Store and things where they, in like similar to like YouTube videos and TikTok videos, where they'll profit share based off of the popularity of your GPT. Well, one of the things I think in the beginning, for those of us who created GPTs at the start, is how do you get how do you make your GPT known and used so that you can get a part of this profit share? That is the whole reason why I started with what I'm doing and what's turned into this podcast. And at this point, and so the whole reason why I started with Sphere AI is because I was like, I need a way to get a website, to get something to help produce or help promote my GPTs that I've created. But with Inquest AI, and that's kind of like I said, we've talked about this before, where we had similar ideas, is the way you get it's the same as marketing with GPTs, but GPTs is just something smaller, but you got to start a conversation about it. You got to be able to have that where the buzz marketing. And I think that, websites like yours and other type of ways, venues to be able to get the talking about the GPTs. But where do you think, like, for those of us watching who are like, okay, I'm going to get a GP started, what is your advice on making it stand out?
So my advice is, and this is what I was saying before in the previous episode, is you have to skate to where the puck is going. Now we know where the puck is going. Everyone, these new capabilities, like I was saying, like you should be building with that in mind. So now everyone's got to kind of update their GPTs to be more utilizing these new capabilities that this model has. This model can talk to like the girl from Her. It can see video, live stream video, and just So I think the custom GPT use cases, the custom GPTs are going to change. Now, they have not, if you go use a custom GPT right now, they're still using ChatGPT 4 model. So they haven't flipped this switch yet, like I said. And when they do, I think it's going to be really interesting. There's going to be a lot of new GPTs. So build your GPT knowing that these new capabilities exist, and then promote it. And what on our site, the way you promote it is that you take the link to your GPT, you paste it in, and it immediately imports your whole bot. And then you should have a bunch of shared conversations and interactions with. You can even make videos about how to best use that bot. You upload it to your bot because you're the owner of that bot. It's in your social builder profile. Our website's like a social network for sharing AI interactions and bots and conversation and music. And so people then can search and find it via you can search it like Google. So the more stuff you add to your bot, the videos and conversations, how to use it, the higher you're going to rank. And we're allowing people to search gems when they come out. Copilots are already out, and GPTs, and that's kind of why I built the site. I just kind of foresaw that there's gonna be all these different models having all these different tools. There's gonna be an ocean of tools, and people are gonna want to market theirs because they're gonna want to get the profit sharing. And so we developed this platform to do that. And so yeah, it's really exciting. And then just another reminder is that so next week Microsoft's having its big announcements about what it's doing, and since Microsoft has access to ChatGPT or OpenAI's intellectual property, they have this same model, right? They can change the voice on it if they want, but they have the same model, so they're coming out the same thing. So copilots are going to have the same capabilities, and Microsoft. So now Microsoft, OpenAI, and Google all have this, right? So basically everyone has this now, right? And it's like the world is changing very quickly. Also, OpenAI has a partnership with Apple. Apple's going to have their big developer conference in June, and they're probably going to then put this in Siri or something. I don't. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that was one of my questions I was thinking of earlier, and I was like, I'm going to bring this up later. Is that there's a key thing here is that we're missing out on is we got OpenAI now, we got Google, we got Microsoft. We're missing Apple and we're missing Amazon. Those are the two ones that you would have thought would have been original, because with Siri and Alexa down there, you thought that would be original one, but they're missing. So either they got something cooking and they're waiting, or they're struggling to get caught up. I'm more thinking they're cooking something, but.
Me too. And so what I think here is happening, I think this is like what makes more sense to me is that the secret sauce for making these types of models is not that secret. It's about having a bunch of compute and a bunch of data and just like training big, giant models. Okay. It's the scaling law. They're finding that you just keep scaling this. Okay. And that's why I think they're like Google caught up so fast. Now, OpenAI might be a little bit ahead with GPT-5. I have no idea, but I would imagine Amazon's going to have this. These other companies are going to have this, and also I don't know that OpenAI is going to give Siri the full deal. They probably will just give it I think they do truly want you to use their app. They see Siri as a competitor, but they'll still give them a better large language model. But I think it'd be stupid of them to give them the whole deal. I don't know. We'll see. They should try to be the Siri that's on your phone. And so yeah, I think that what we're seeing is these models are they're not as secretive as how to build them. It's more just how much computing power, and there's how many giant basically NVIDIA really expensive chips do you have and so
also with because what I was going to say too is that with Tim Cook and Jeff Bezos, that it hurts their pride not to be in the middle of this craze, with their names put out there and everything else. But I will say Facebook. with Meta AI. I know we've talked about Meta before and with the stuff they're doing. For anybody that was paying attention to Facebook or Instagram or any of the social medias, mostly was around Facebook, during the last election, like that was a big hot topic, is being flagged for fake news and flagged for different things. I don't know if I don't. It's funny because I don't use Facebook near as much as I used to, but I don't know if you've ever noticed. But now when you go through Facebook, what used to be flagged as potential news or whatever, Meta, for every news article it's on there, or if you click on the comments, it will Meta AI has this little thing at the top, and it now gives you some people say this, some people say that, and it's like not biased at all. It's just kind of giving you the general concept. Now, when the election stuff starts happening out, I'm curious to see how it goes. But right now, every little thing, even if it's controversial, it's giving you the option to. It gives you the little summary of what it is and what this side thinks and what this side thinks, and you can click on it to ask for more information. It's genius. So the fact that Facebook or Meta put this into their social media apps to where at any given time you can click on whatever you want and it'll give you more information about it. There was something about the local school that I go to. I follow the local school, the elementary school that I go to, that my kids go to, and it wouldn't, it was giving me like options about what they were recommending for an event that was happening locally. And so Meta AI was giving its own little version of what I could ask about that event. And I mean, just amazing to see of how they've integrated it into their services.
Yeah. And they're the ones that are creating these giant, basically open source models that are really, really fantastic for the open source community, because you can fine tune those models on your own data. And so they've got a giant one cooking, a giant model cooking, and they're like the sleeper in the room that like around AI that not a lot of I think the main public realize that they've got the infrastructure with the Meta glasses, the Ray-Ban glasses with the camera. It's super creepy. Don't wear them in my house. But they can be really useful if you're working on that engine, right? So right tools for the right jobs. I'm not a huge fan of everyone literally wearing them all the time. It is what it is. People are gonna do what they're gonna do, but so they obviously are creating models that are they're already kind of, like I said, one step ahead, and they've got the hardware out there, and they're building the AI that's going to work with that hardware, and it already kind of works with it. I haven't used it a lot, or I haven't used it at all, but I've been hearing about it. So you just see these announcements and how these things talk to you, and it's very quickly, we're in the movie Her, and I guess buckle up. This is where I was talking about before, is that like things that there's the good and bad of this, and some people are going to think it's awesome. I'm probably going to enjoy it. Like there's going to be really fun. Like this is going to be really fun to play with. And then there's going to be really weird things that happen. And it just reminds me of the internet. Like, I grew up with the internet, so it was like, okay, cool. It was like all this great stuff. I'm sure when that came out, people were like terrified of all the bad things.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, there was. I mean, like we've discussed, there's a lot of bad things out there, and you just got to take it in. You take the good in with the bad, and try to push the bad out. But I kind of like, we have for like one last video that I kind of want to show before we end this, because we're getting close to over an hour now. But before we get to that point, I do want to show like some reality of there was a lot of demos, a lot of things that we have not shown that were amazing and cool, and I would love to go back and I could sit here for 3 hours talking about all that stuff. But this one was one that you had showed me as well, that shows some potential game changers and just reality, especially when you add the glasses and add anything else into it. And then you can go to Neuralink, which we've talked about. But all right, let's watch this real quick.
Spanish, and we're wondering if you could tell us the names of these objects in Spanish.
Hola, por supuesto.
Cool. What are these objects in Spanish?
The objects you're showing are una manzana and un plátano in Spanish. Nice fruit choice.
Cool. What about these?
Those are dos polígrafos, or dos plumas in Spanish. One is red.
Nice. What about this?
That adorable stuffed animal is un oso de peluche in Spanish. Looks like it's ready for some hugs.
I mean, we already knew that we have apps that can translate things and stuff like that, but you're adding video into it now.
Yeah, so so one of the demos they did live was just like translating the woman on the stage at OpenAI was speaking Italian and the other guy was speaking English, and it just translated it right back and forth. And so, like this is where example of like where when the model jumps up, it just eats certain companies. Like now, like you can just learn you can learn, Duolingo. I think the stock dropped like a bunch because when this was announced, it's been dropping a bunch of things. People knew this was kind of coming, but you basically this is like this is your AI powered tutor that has got a personality that's always available, right? Low cost that we've talked about. And there was another one where it just showed you like you could just show it your homework and you could talk to it and it's just talking to you like a tutor. And so yeah, I mean, that's where like really amazing stuff where you can just like learn all these languages. Like that's why I love this so much. I think like Steve Jobs talked about how the computer is like the bicycle for the mind, like this is like the ultimate bicycle for the mind. If you want to learn, this is like, and that's what I love about it so much. Just everyone can learn what in whatever they want for free. And it's just like, we have access that, we have more access now, even before this technology came out, than like presidents did in like the 1980s, right? Because the internet and everything. And so it's just like, it's unbelievable how fast we're evolving. And this technology is making things that only the elite few had, or not even had, no one had this ever, but some of these things that just how quickly like things just change. It's like, wow. So
yeah, I used to talking about like people used to we've always had YouTube, and you can go on YouTube and watch videos how to do many different things. One of the things that I was doing a couple months ago was with the ChatGPT app, is that you could talk. It's like as I was driving home, I have a 45-minute drive from work, and as I was driving home, I would turn it on sometimes, put it over the car speaker, and just sit there and have conversations with the AI, asking it random things. So it helped me a lot whenever I was trying to build my website, try to build a lot of things, and just getting, just literally you'd ask a question, it would respond back to you, and you could just learn just by having a conversation. So just from a couple of months ago, it is significantly advanced now that the conversation is more fluid and everything else. So yeah, this is your opportunity. I mean, like the people have said from the beginning, learn AI or you're going to get left behind.
Yeah.
Personal life is going to be great. It's going to help you. You could live without it. Yes, you can go about your life without it. But business wise, learn it or your businesses will fall behind.
Yeah. If you have the will, now there is a way, and this is the way that it can like teach you to do this stuff. I did the same thing. Like sometimes in the car, I'm just kind of like curious about something, and I'm like, and so I'm like in the car. So this is like 40-minute drive. I was just learning all about how models get trained. And I'm like, but what about this? What about that? And it's like, oh yeah, good question. And yeah, it would have issues where like all of a sudden it would stop. But so like, that's really cool now that it can have a personality and it will be more like conversational. So, but yeah, a lot of these things are already kind of there. So, early adopters like us, like, are already know how cool some of this stuff is. But then they add video and unlocks a whole nother ball game. Other people are saying that, the underlying text model itself is like, there's like mixed feelings on how really great, much better it is than ChatGPT 4. But I did see like an image that came out of this thing, and it was so hyper realistic. And because right now the model's still using DALL-E 3, but they released, OpenAI just released an image. Greg, I can't remember his last name, who's like one of the main founders. He released an image, and it was someone like at a chalkboard, and it legit looked like, unless you zoomed in, there was like one little thing where I'm like, okay, that's kind of a giveaway. But I was like, wow, that's pretty mind blowing. So, yeah. But
I'm telling you, we at the beginning of this episode, we mentioned that it was a big week in the news, and with AI news, and a lot of lot of fun things. This has definitely been probably my favorite episode that we've talked about. We've not really went off way off script with aliens yet, but I had to mention aliens at least one time. No, you mentioned alien technology earlier. We got to mention at least once every episode. But but yeah. So I mean, I've thoroughly enjoyed just having. I mean, this week has been really fun to watch. And there's still more out there, man. I mean, I know you've watched more than I have probably. But for anybody that's listening or watching, like there's so much out there. Go on there and watch more of these videos.
We covered the main things, and so I would say the other thing that's gonna be interesting is seeing what Microsoft does next week, because we know Microsoft has the AI models that ChatGPT does. We know that, but then also they're gonna have their own stuff, so that's gonna be exciting. Their co-pilots are kind of like hard to build. Like they really need to make their co-pilots easier to build and stuff. So I would imagine they're gonna probably announce something about that. So it'll be interesting.
Yeah, I agree. Well, we definitely next week we're obviously going to have a lot more information to cover. We'll probably cover some of the things we didn't cover this week that we missed, and talk about what Microsoft will be announcing. We didn't even get a chance to talk about how much Android is coming out of with advancements, and leaving Apple once again far behind. But we won't have to embarrass you too much towards the end of the episode, so we'll leave it at that. So
yeah, at this rate, we're just going to be using these tools in the model. I don't know, it's crazy for GPTs and stuff, right? So
that's what Apple does. Apple waits everybody else to release their technology, and then just come in and like, well, here, we'll take it, we'll make it, it'll pretend it's ours.
Yeah, hopefully people are just using GPTs and copilots and gems that are built by like real people, and these things are all personalized to you, and we don't need these giant software companies just being like, here's your thing. Like we can use like you said, the Gammas of the world, the Gamma app. And so yeah, exciting stuff. I feel like it's a really good episode. I really enjoyed this format of having the video on the screen. I feel like we should do that more of that. So thanks for thinking of that and making the videos. So appreciate it.
Yes, it's been fun. I'm enjoying it. I'm learning a lot. And, for somebody, I mean, I'm a prime example of AI helping you learn things and push the envelope. My day-to-day job has nothing to do with anything that I'm doing here. And this is all things that I have just been teaching myself and in very little time. I mean, I wish I could spend more time doing this stuff, but I really don't have a whole lot of time. But I love it, and it has made it easier for me to do it. And I'm a huge advocate for it, and I'm going to continue to push for it and continue to learn myself. So,
you have no excuse now, because now you're going to soon be able to just walk around your house or anytime you have any downtime and talk to AI and be working.
I'm loving it. I mean, that's what I need. I need to have I really need the glasses. The glasses, when we need Google Glass come back out or do the meta, I need them and to go ahead and incorporate that, because that's what I need.
Yeah.
I don't know. There was one that I saw this week, and I can't remember. It was the earpiece that you could drown out, because you had talked about it, and you could drown out. I can't remember what the name of the company was, but you could drown out the sound and change. Yeah.
Yeah.
I want that. My kids, whenever they're both whining at the same time, I can just, because I mean, that's been a thing on TV. If you go back to sitcoms, if you had that remote, you could turn down your wife, or whatever. That was always a thing. It now exists. It's just you got to wear an earpiece.
Contact lens. This is the future. It's the digital contact lens. It's the Neuralink hat, and it's the implantable AirPods that never need to come out. They just turn on when you need them to. And it's just like 1 second you're in the real world, the next second you're in an augmented world, and then the next second you're in a virtual world. And
episode 100, we will be live from the beach from inside our house, in our minds.
Well, that's what you're tapping into Neuralink, which you feel the water on your feet, even though there's no water in your office. Anyway, now I feel like
Or here's the big one we'll end it on. Or what it is we already have it, and we are already living in a simulation, and this is it. And that we think that we're going through this technology, but really we're just in some water capsule somewhere, just waiting to wake up.
Yeah, almost like we were in the Matrix, and it's all plugged in. So
I mean, if you could choose a time to be born, the last 40 years have been an amazing time to be alive because so much has the rapid change. And I mean, if you could say, hey, over the last 5,000 years, this has been probably the most exciting time to be alive. So,
but going down that thought experiment, there is a chance, there is some probability. I don't know how high, but there definitely is a probability that we are just recreating the technology that the simulation, right? So we're just recreating what we can already do that we don't realize we can do, and we're just so yeah, that's. But now we're going super far down the rabbit hole. This can be like another hour. Probably should wrap it here. I feel like we're over an hour, and this is really good.
They say to have your niche and that you stick to it. But I'm one of those people. We could do another hour episode. We can just continue on. We'll talk about aliens and we'll talk about simulation theory. We can go into vibration levels and talk about a lot of stuff too. I'm down. Let's talk about it.
We got to save something for episode 7.
That's right. That's right. All right, we'll go ahead and end it. I will say, we are now, as we were progressing, we said episode 1 that this is a learning in progress. So we are now. I finally got us up on Amazon podcast. I've got us on Google podcast. We're on Spotify. I'm still waiting on you to get Apple because Apple knows my feelings towards it, and every time I try to get it going, it gives me this reject, and so. I'm gonna let you handle that one.
Yeah. I will. I feel like we're pretty far covered, but yeah, we'll eventually get on there, and I'll look into it. Maybe you'll like my clone.
All it needs the ID. I mean, it wants an Apple ID, and it says after that I can just put the RSS feed in, and we're good. So
yeah. Maybe just boycott Apple. Right?
There you go. I agree. Until they can get a better Siri out there, we're gonna boycott.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Well, we appreciate everybody. For anybody who's watched it now, or if you're watching it, 6 weeks from now, or whatever the scenario is, we greatly appreciate it. And definitely tune in, subscribe, like, share. We'll take it all. So we definitely appreciate it, and we hope everybody has a good evening, morning, night, whatever it is for you right now. So we appreciate it. And we'll see you next time.
Awesome.